also a debate raging around the birth of the Prince of Cambridge. While much of the nation and the world celebrate, there are many who are wondering quite what the fuss is all about. Thousands of babies are born every day in this country and indeed around the world, mostly into far less privilege. So is it right to be so celebratory, or is it all over the top? Richard Fitzwilliams is a royal commentator and former editor of Who's Who, and he joins me live this evening from Westminster. We're also joined in the studio by Graham Smith, and he is from Republic Campaign. Good to see you both tonight. Graham, let's start with you. So no introduction, really. I'm sure you're not all that fussed.
No, I mean, the good luck to William and Kate for having a child. But I mean, as you said, lots of other people do have children every single day. But it does raise questions about whether we are actually born equal as citizens, and also whether this child is born equal. I mean, this child is only a day old and has already had its whole life mapped out. And that boy needs to be able to decide for itself what it wants to do in the future. And it makes it very difficult to have that, raise those serious points when the media is just absolutely saturating the airwaves with entirely sycophantic, fawning coverage and joining in the celebrations rather than reporting the issue.
Richard, do you think we're being a sycophantic bunch, or do you think it's right to kind of get behind the country in this mood?
Well, the birth of an heir to the throne is certainly, for me and those who think like me, and it's something, according to a poll last week in the Evening Standard, about 80% of the population, a matter of very considerable importance, but also something where we feel very deeply for it. The essence of monarchy, as I see it, is that it is symbolic of national unity, that it is above politics, and that it links back, very often colourfully, to traditions, some of which date back over 1,000 years, and you've got benefits for the country, especially if you look at the fascination that those who are abroad, especially the press corps. Graham talks about the press coverage. It is fantastic. It's fantastic because we have the most high-profile royal family, and because some of them, the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh, exemplars of duty, but also the world has taken William and Kate very much to their heart, and this is a really happy arrival, a happy occasion, and something that's historic, because since 1894 is the only time going back 120 years where there have been 3 heirs to the throne in the line of succession who are alive at the same time.
I mean, this is history in the making, isn't it, Graham? It only happens every 30 or even 40 years. I mean, surely you allow people to celebrate that.
Well, it's not history, and it's not historic. It's a baby being born, which is great for them.
But he's the heir to the throne, and that happens every 30 or 40 years.
Even if the monarchy survives, it's going to be a good 60 or 70 years before this child has any...
but it's a historic day, his birth, isn't it?
It's not, no, it's not. It's not. Historic is a big word, and this is not historic. Other events are historic. This is a birth. Well, any big event, major events in world politics, that's historic.
But he will be a future King of England.
Well, we don't know that, because there is a lot of the monarchy's support rests on the Queen, and she's not going to be around for that much longer. Charles is deeply political. There is a growing Republican movement. The Commonwealth countries are going to split off.
So you think in the next 60 years the monarchy will be abolished?
There's every chance it can be abolished.
Oh, but that is
people
quite
like us are going to be working very hard to make it get it abolished.
I don't doubt your personal feelings on the matter, but surely if we look reasonably at opinion polls, Republic support in the Evening Standard, for example, will be about 60 to 70%, but I mean, it is ridiculous. 44 countries are still monarchies. To pretend that monarchy is an outmoded form of institution is completely wrong.
Most of those countries are moving away. They're planning to move away.
No,
and they're going to move away. The opinion polls are not like you. It's not 75% of the population like you, Richard. Most of them aren't interested. Polling has made it quite clear that most people aren't interested in the baby. They're not interested in the Jubilee. They weren't interested in the wedding.
Okay, are the polls wrong, Richard? Who should I believe out of the two of you? Because you're both saying completely different things.
I have to say that if you look at the United Nations happiness ratio, and the first 10 countries, you'll find 7 are monarchies. The fact that Scandinavian countries, it's not irrelevant because people feel very strongly for the institution. And if you look at the benefits this brings to Britain through tourism, royals involved in charity, and also going abroad to help British business. If it wasn't true, why does the government give money to the members of the royal family to go abroad? Because they know of the benefits. Because the members of the royal family lobby
the government, asking them to give them these roles. So
but can't you see the need, the fondness, that the colour, the pageantry and the pomp, the theatre, if you like, it appeals. If it didn't appeal, why have you got the world's press camped outside the hospital?
Well, okay, let Graham answer
the
those
media
points.
need to answer for their own behaviour, particularly the British broadcast media, who have a legal and ethical obligation to be balanced and impartial.
Surely the
on these
media
issues.
just give the audience what they want.
No, because clearly a lot of people are getting very angry with the way the coverage has been handled over the last 48 hours. A lot of complaints
just
going
one second,
into
Richard,
broadcasters.
where are you seeing these complaints?
I'm getting this from journalists and editors and producers from broadcasters. I'm getting it on online, on social media. People are not impressed with the way this is being handled.
But as Richard said, it does make people happy, though. Richard, one second, it does make people happy,
It makes some people happy. Most people are not that interested. They really aren't. Most people weren't interested in the Jubilee or the wedding. And the point is, this is a political institution. There is power and vested interest in this organisation, and it has to be dealt with as a political issue.
Okay, answer that, Richard. It's a political institution.
The powers of the monarchy are not the powers they hold, but the powers that they deny to others, and the functions of the monarch are to be advised, to encourage and to warn. No, but I mean, they aren't political.
Just to wrap up, Richard, I'm sorry to interrupt you. You have to wrap up. Before we go, Graham, what would you like in replacement? A president?
Well, we only have to look to our nearest neighbour, the Republic of Ireland, who elect very successful, very eloquent, very well-respected heads of state who are as popular as Queen.
Any politician wanting a republic would be writing the shortest suicide note in history.
OK. Gentlemen, thank you very much for a great debate. Thank you for joining us.